Hi, my name's Tanner Ferry, and you guys can call me Mr. Ferry or Ferry. I teach the agricultural sciences pathway here at Medical Lake. Another thing that's kind of involved with that is the FFA, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So starting off with my program, the first thing that the freshmen get to take with me is AF&R, which stands for Ag, Food, and Natural Resources. Some of the cool things that freshmen get to do in that class is really experience the broad spectrum that actually is agriculture and wildlife and natural resources. In that class, we do a lot of different things. It's very more so in the sense of exposure to the craft and the field itself and trying to stimulate ideas with the kids on what it is that actually farmers do or ranchers do or producers, business, anything like that. So there's a lot of just exposure to different trades and crafts, and it's just little tiny mini lessons depending on what it is that we're learning. And then the next class that you get to take with me is plant science. I really enjoy plant science because we have access to a greenhouse, which we run a couple different fundraisers in the springtime for Mother's Day, and just a spring plant sale. In that class, we learn about plant physiology, soil health, water nutrients, potential jobs in the career field. It's really interesting because not a lot of kids have experience with a garden at home. So if you are interested in learning how to take care of plants or anything plant science related, I think that class would probably be the one for you. After that, a lot of students like to transition or follow into the next biology class that I teach, which is animal science. I like to take the animal science class and start off as a more ethics-based type conversation at the beginning. So we talk about animal rights and welfare and the ethics of consuming animal products and byproducts. And then we get into kind of the more fun stuff where we get to do dissections and anatomy of different animals. One highlight that we just got done doing for Valentine's Day is that we did a dissection of sheep hearts. We go through the pulmonary system and all the lungs and all your different nervous systems, and you just really get to walk through what it is that's actually going inside the animals' bodies. And with that, again, more and more exposure to different jobs in the career field and industry. There's a lot of different things that you can do out there in the world with animals, be it a producer or a zoologist or a researcher for a national park or refuge. So it's kind of interesting to see what exactly the kids want to get into. I focus on small animal and large animal. I try to give insight to farm animals and how you can take better care of your pets. So it's really interesting in that aspect that some students haven't had the luxury of having a pet or a farm animal, and we get a little bit more hands-on and in detail with some of these critters. And then lastly, another interesting class that I teach is my senior agricultural communications and leadership class. In that class, we talk about topics regarding journalism, social media, business, how to be a better leader, a better community member. And there's lots and lots of opportunity for doing a little bit of social media for the FFA. And in that class, there's lots of opportunity for travel. Because FFA and my ag classes are intercurricular, there's a lot of opportunity to go out and see the world and experience things that might not necessarily happen within the school building. Since, I guess, the dawn of time, we as humans have been involved in agriculture in some facet or another, be it actually having active roles in horticulture or viticulture or any other plant-based type field, but also with animals. More recently, there's been a big push to feed the world because by 2050, there's supposed to be about 10.9 billion people in the world, and we're starting to notice some food security issues. So they've really been pushing urban agriculture because not everybody can live on a farm, like you were just saying. I try to tailor my class to any student that's walking off from whatever backgrounds or lifestyles that they got going on. There's a spot for you if you are that traditional ag kid, but also if you just want to have succulents sitting on your back window. Like, there's all kinds of different things within agriculture that it can be done. So food and textiles, technically that falls under the world of agriculture. So if you're interested in designing apparel or learning how fiber works and knitting and sewing and other skills and crafts like that, that's still part of agriculture. Then you got the business side. There's ag business. You can be a day trader where you trade commodities, where you're purchasing grain or selling cattle at the auction. So from a business standpoint, obviously farmers got to make money, and so do the rest of us. But we get to look at a couple different options where you might not necessarily be in the fields plowing or seeding or riding by horseback. There's jobs in agriculture where you get to wear a suit and tie every day too. And then on top of that, obviously food is probably one of the most important things that agriculture brings to the table. So traditionally speaking, there are farmers everywhere. There are animal specialists, veterinary scientists, doctors, meat scientists, food grading, cooks. There's so many different jobs within the broad spectrum that is agriculture. That also extends into the wildlife too. So if you're interested in maybe not the domesticated animals, some of these wild animals like grizzly bears, wolves, elk, maybe talking about some of the climate in Yellowstone, there's lots of jobs. Agriculture is important. Yeah, so as I was referring to earlier, FFA is an intercurricular club here at Medical Lake. This is my first year as the agriculture advisor. And one of the cool opportunities that my students get to do is when we are learning in class, 9 times out of 10, there's probably a competition or an event or a leadership role or any type of clinic that directly correlates to FFA. So if you are enjoying what we're doing in class, chances are you probably could do it and be competitive at it. And with the FFA, you get lots of opportunity to travel both to WSU in Pullman, where we have our state convention in May. And then if you are a little bit more successful than that, you might have the opportunity to go to nationals in Indianapolis. The cool thing about agriculture is that the farming community is very small. So it's very much so that we help out anybody and anyone who is in the craft and anyone who is interested in coming into it. For the students, they get to go on lots of field trips where maybe we might go out and do a driving course where we're backing up a trailer with a tractor around cones. Or maybe you were more interested in animals and you want to do some livestock judging and evaluation. If you make it past the sub-districts and districts competitions, you make it to state, and with a majority of these competitions, there's scholarship and monetary rewards that you can earn by placing and doing well at the competition. Lastly, there's a lot of networking and connections that happen. So, for example, we do a lot of different events with schools from across the state and from schools directly here in our community. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can do within the realm of agriculture. And one of my favorite things that we've done this year is the FFA has put on a poinsettia sale for the winter. And one of the trips that we got to go do was go up to Coeur d'Alene and harvest a couple trees, and we brought them back and we sold them for the holidays. And if that sounds exciting to you, there's so much more.